Breathe, colleagues. Come on.
I need to be breathing.
Take a collective breath and let it go. We're here. Okay, now we're going to turn this over to Max. We are ready for our first candidate interview, and we will give Max time to start. And we'll move forward. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. I think it's your pleasure to meet Dr. Brown for 90. Oops, thank you. We'll get on tape. It was my pleasure to introduce Dr. Brown with her 90-second video earlier this morning. And as you know, she is a Chief Academic Officer from Atlantic Public Schools. She's had a chance to shake all your hands, and yes. I know is eager to meet you and hear from you, answer your questions over the course of the next 60 to 75 minutes. We have sent the resume to the public. I know that will be to Monica. I know that will be posted shortly, if it's not already. So I think without further ado, my honor to present, turn this over to our two co-chairs, Ms. Coleman and Ms. Love. And Dr. Brown, welcome to Memphis. A great place to be, and we're glad to have you here.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good morning, Memphis-Shelby County School Board.
Good morning.
I just want to, if I could, just correct that I'm not a doctor. Just Miss Brown, and Yolanda is perfect.
We will get started. The questions are already, so we won't come back. Everybody knows what order to go in and asking the questions. Thank you.
Good morning again, Ms. Brown, and
Yes.
Thank you. You said to call you Yolanda, so I
Yolanda's
will
perfect.
stick with that. Yolanda, I'm Michelle,
Okay.
and serve on the school board here. I will start with question number one. It's regarding student achievement.
Mm-hmm.
If you need me to repeat it, please let me know, and I will be happy to do so. The question goes, distinguish between academic growth and proficiency, and give an example of your experience in developing and implementing initiatives for improving both. In your answer, please discuss your specific role, who and how you engaged others in the process, and the impact on student achievement outcomes. If you need me to go over that again, I'd be happy to do so. It's a very, it's one question, but it's loaded.
It's a lot of information.
It's got a lot
Yes, go
going on,
ahead.
so I'll read it again a little bit faster. Distinguish between academic growth and proficiency, and give an example of your experience in developing and implementing initiatives for improving both. Also in your answer, please discuss your specific role and who and how you engage others in the process and the impact on student achievement outcomes.
Thank you. So yes, student achievement, which is at the heart of every school system and what we do this work for each and every day. So student achievement versus growth. So I know in Tennessee, as well as in the state of Georgia, there is an expectation and a bar for what content students are supposed to know, what they're supposed to know, understand, and be able to do. And so the achievement is that bar. And so whatever that cut score is, or the bar for the state, or the bar for the school district, that is achievement. Students are showing mastery of the standards for the state of Tennessee. Growth is a little bit different. It is progress. Students may or may not meet the bar or the goal, but students are showing progress towards meeting that goal, meaning that they may or may not have mastered all of the content standards that are outlined by the state, but they're making progress towards that. And so that work, just like in Memphis-Shelby County Schools, is very similar to the work in Atlanta Public Schools. As the Chief Academic Officer, I oversee one of the largest divisions within Atlanta Public Schools. And so our focus is teaching and learning and achievement. And so as the Chief Academic Officer, I led the implementation of the district's first 3-year academic recovery plan as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. And so that plan focused on 3 components. One, a robust assessment system so that we could not only look at just academic performance of students and where they were, but also social emotional assessment. And so doing academics and social emotional learning, because kids cannot learn if we cannot address their social emotional learning needs. And so implementing that was the first part of that plan. And so then the second part was we extended the 30 minutes of the elementary school day. And so we wanted to provide students with more time to be able to engage with the standards and more time for teachers and staff to be able to support students with their social emotional needs. And then the third component consisted of a full-day summer academic recovery academy for all students, pre-K to 12. And so we provided students with a full day, just like they have during the school year. So in the morning, it was focused on numeracy and literacy, or reading and math. And then it also focused on support and enrichment in the afternoon. So students had a full day like they would during the school year. This 3-year recovery plan did not happen in isolation. It happened because of the work of all the stakeholders in Atlanta. And so when we rolled this plan out and we were planning it, we went to several different stakeholders. We started with the board because the board had a vision for the expectations for how we were going to recover lost to learning and unfinished learning because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And so we started with the board. The board gave great feedback around what they wanted to see, what their constituents expected as far as the opportunities for students. So we took their feedback first. And then we went to our teacher advisory. Our teacher advisory, because our teachers, we can plan and design great things, but teachers are the ones who implement it every day. And so we have a teacher advisory that supports the superintendent. And so as the chief academic officer, I led that work with the teacher advisory. Then we also included our principal advisory because they are the school-based leaders who have to lead this work. So we got feedback from the principal advisory, and we were able to take that feedback as well. And then we also had our community and parents so that they could clearly understand what we were trying to achieve with that 3-year academic recovery plan. And so all of the various stakeholders within Atlanta, we engaged them because it affects all of them. And so they were a key part of it. I am so excited about the work we've done in Atlanta for the last 3 years as I've served as a chief academic officer. So within that plan, it was even more detailed. So even if we talked about having an extended 30 minutes, students got enrichment and they got intervention. And that was very intentional because equity talks about giving every student what they need. And so those 30 minutes were focused on providing both of those for students based on where they were. I am so excited to report that we got our Georgia results back for our elementary, middle, and high school. And I am so excited that Atlanta achieved historic year-over-year gains in elementary literacy, numeracy, Algebra 1, and I'm excited to report that for the past 3 years in Atlanta, we have increased our graduation rate consistently every single year. Our graduation rate this year for 2023 is 86.6, the highest that APS has ever seen, and for the first time in history, we surpassed the state of Georgia's graduation rate. So we are really, really excited about these results. Of course, we have more work to do, but in addition to achieving those gains, we saw over 60 to 68% of our students in elementary school, 3 through 5, show high levels or typical levels of growth. And so it goes back to your question about growth and achievement. Yes, achievement is the target, it's the bar that is set for content mastery, but we also know that we have to grow students, and sometimes they have to grow faster so that they can hit that achievement bar. Thank you.
So much for that comprehensive response.
Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning again.
Good morning.
I'm the real Reverend Al Green. Nice to meet you.
Absolutely. Bishop, I understand.
Yes, ma'am. Your question, second question is, describe your process for evaluating, securing, and monitoring the financial needs of a school district. What is your experience?
No, that's question number 3. Only number 2.
It's on number 2 sheet. I have 2 markers. That's your question. What is your process for evaluating, securing, and monitoring the financial need of a school district?
So the resources in a school district, specifically the budget, is a key component of making sure that our schools and that our school district has everything that they need to do the work. And so as I describe the process of evaluating the budget, I always start with, first of all, what resource do we have available? What are those funding sources for the school district? Is it federal dollars, general fund dollars? What are those resources? I also evaluate the budget also based upon what are the goals the board has set out for how we will use those resources. What is the vision? What is the expectation for that budget? Every budget, the budget of a school district, should always be aligned to the board's goals and the vision for the district. As a part of managing a budget and evaluating it, taking a look at how every dollar has been spent and what has it been aligned to. Is it aligned to goals? Is it aligned to the expectations? How have we spent that budget? And so there should be a progress monitoring process throughout the year for your budget. And so as the budget is established, we've allocated dollars. We establish a clear progress monitoring that's reported back to the board. Here's how we spent in this quarter. Here's what it's achieved. Here's what it's helped us do. Has it been impactful? So that's how I would start with evaluating. And then I think securing additional resources. I think that's correct that you asked. And so as the superintendent, you are the advocate for your school system. And so looking at whatever available dollars there are from the state, I know here it's the Board of Commissioners, I think, here in Tennessee and Memphis. How do you leverage more dollars given the direction that we're trying to go as a school district? But also, what are private dollars? What are those private dollars that we could secure in order to be able to provide our students and our schools with the resources that they need to push our district's one vision forward? And so, again, evaluating the budget, what's available, how we're using that budget, what is it aligned to, what is every dollar aligned to, and making sure that I am out front to ensure that every dollar is spent and we're advocating for more funding and we're actually transparent and showing everyone in the community, here's how we spent it, here is the impact of it, and here is what additional resources we need.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello,
Hello?
I am Stephanie Love,
Yes.
and I have a question.
Okay.
What is your experience and knowledge in the facilities management?
Great. So as a senior leader in Atlanta Public Schools, there is not a major facilities or operational decision where I don't have a seat at the table, because facilities and operations are in service to academics. And so over the last couple of years in Atlanta, we have engaged in the facilities master planning process so that we could specifically address enrollment patterns, overutilized schools who are overcrowded, underutilized schools, and to address the demographic changing patterns across Atlanta. And so I have a seat at the table because, again, all of the operations and facilities should serve the needs of our students and our schools. And so as a part of the facilities master planning process, I've been at the table to discuss the actual assessment of the buildings. Where are we currently with our buildings? What shape they are in? How are they servicing the academic needs of our schools? Also taking a look at the demographic patterns in different neighborhoods. How are we servicing those neighborhoods given those current facilities? Do we have, because we have several surplus properties in Atlanta that we have to determine what to do with in alignment with the Board of Education. And then also taking a look at the academic needs. If you are a STEM or IB school, there are facility requirements that drive how that facility supports kids and supports the staff. And then lastly, taking a look at, as a part of that conversation, the available dollars. So we have our special option penny sales tax in Georgia, SPLOST dollars, and so looking at what available funding there is to be able to make capital improvements. And so, but again, all of those conversations, I'm sitting right at the table. While I am not the chief operations officer, those decisions are never made without me there to have conversations, because again, operations and facilities management is about it's in service to the academic programming of a school district.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. I'm Kevin Woods, School Board Member, District 4. Again, thank you for being with us today. I have a question for you as well. I would like for you, if you could, please describe your experience working with school board members. Please include examples of how you have kept and how you would keep all board members informed on the issues, needs, and operations of the school system.
So while in Atlanta, I was not the superintendent. As the chief academic officer, I still worked very closely with our 9-member board. Just like you all are 9, we have 9 in Atlanta as well. And part of that is close collaboration around helping the board. I helped the board set the academic vision for the district, academic and whole child vision for the school board. I also act as an advisor to the school board. So any academic questions, anything related to our strategies, I'm able to communicate with those board members so that they are informed, so that they can walk out in their communities and be able to articulate exactly what we're doing as a school district while we're doing that. And so also in Atlanta, we have what we call our Student Outcomes Focused Governance, or SOFG. And so those are 4 goals that our Board of Education has set for the district. And so that is around literacy, numeracy, college and career, and profile of a graduate. And so the superintendent and every employee in the district is evaluated on how well we achieve those 4 goals. And so as they set the goals as a 9-member board, I was at the table to inform them on what should that vision be? What should some of those goals look like? Are we on the right track with where we're trying to take Atlanta Public Schools? And so I am an advisor to the board. I am a partner to the board, providing them when they have meetings with their constituents, being there to explain, being out front to help them explain what we're doing in the district. At every board meeting, typically I am presenting to the board, giving them key information about what's happening with our academic strategy. And of course, behind the scenes, their constituents call all the time or email about questions and concerns. And so I'm able to send them responses and information that they need so that they can continue to build trust with their constituents and bridge the gap of information. As superintendent, we know that, I know that the more effective the superintendent and the board's relationship is, the more effective a school district is. And so goes the superintendent and the board, so goes the school district. And so as superintendent, working with 9 board members is very, very unique. But what happens is it's about communication. It is about working with you all every week, one-on-ones. How do we set up a schedule that is convenient so that you get FaceTime with me to talk about issues related to your constituents, the needs within your areas, one-on-one time? Also, how do we spend time outside of just the workday so that we can get to know each other? And my cell phone. On the phone, I am a phone call away for you to call if there's a concern. If there's a question that you have, I should be available to be able to answer those questions, because again, you are trying to bridge the gap with your communities, and I need to be very, very responsive. Also, before board meetings, in addition to weekly one-on-ones, also having specific one-on-one times so that we prepared for the board meeting, so that you have all the information that you need and you can give me a heads up on, let's think about this, let's think about that. But I think it's about building a relationship with each of you, understanding your unique needs, and also finding the time and being very specific about how we would communicate so that you're successful, I'm successful, and Memphis-Shelby County Schools is successful as well.
Hello, Yolanda. Mauricio Calvo. My question is going to be about relationships and leadership. So, staff relationships specifically. So, could you please describe your leadership style, giving specific examples on how you motivate employees and how do you resolve differences that arise among them? So, if you can describe your leadership style, giving specific examples of how you motivate employees and resolve differences when they arise among them.
Okay, so this is a question that you get a lot as a leader. So my leadership style, and I'll say it from the perspective of some of the stakeholders in Atlanta, they would say very much I am a servant leader because I have been in Atlanta Public Schools for 30 years serving the students and families in that school district. But I think I'm also very collaborative. And so that style lends itself to building great relationships. People want you to be authentic in who you are. And so I lead with authenticity. I lead with collaboration because you cannot build trust without collaboration. And so my team would definitely say that. And so giving an example of how I motivate my team and motivate employees. So we have, in Atlanta, we use specifically Gallup strengths. So we start from what's strong with each individual person versus what's wrong. And so when you lead from a source of strength and you know every one of your employees' strength, you might be, so for example, Board Member McKissick, your strength might be responsibility. Board Member Carville, your strength might be achiever. And so understanding each individual's strength, I am able to leverage that to help my team do what they do best every day. Because if you start with their strengths, that's what's going to motivate them. I also motivate them, again, with being authentic, being relatable. I am very relatable, and I can be very real as well. People appreciate that. And they have a say in the work that we're doing. People want to be heard. They want their feedback taken. And so that's how I lead specifically. And again, so with our Gallup strengths, that work is very intentional. It's funny, I just got an award from our district around engagement, because you lead a team through engagement, through their strengths. And so I just, as one of the chiefs in Atlanta, had one of the highest engagement scores for my employees because they feel like they're being developed. They feel like they have a voice in the work. They feel like they have opportunities to grow. They feel like I empower them to do what they do best every day, even though I hold them strictly accountable. Even with that, you can hold people accountable and be supportive, but you start with a trusting and collaborative relationship. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning.
What role would the community play in your administration and in your response include how you would define community and how you would keep the community informed and engaged on the needs and progress of the school system?
So, community is the backbone of a school district, is how I would define it. And so anyone who has an interest in the school system is part of the community. And so how you keep them informed, first of all, the community in my administration, they would be specific advisors. that is very similar to what we do in Atlanta. Having a community advisory with enough voices so that I hear exactly what their needs are, what challenges they're having. And so that is those meetings where they are engaging directly with me and my team so that we're building trust as a team. And so the community has a unique perspective. I know in Atlanta they do. They hear everything in the streets. It doesn't matter what it is. They know the real deal. And so they're the ones who can whisper in your ear and say, no, it's not like that. This is what it is. And it gives you good information to be able to act upon. And so having that focused community voice is going to be very important for me as a superintendent to be successful in Memphis-Shelby County Schools. That's going to be essential. The informed part of it is also making sure that they're one of the first people that you call when you're trying to bring everyone along in the community, because community listens to community, neighbors listen to neighbors, friends listen to friends before they listen to a lot of people. And so creating that structure that provides the community to have a voice, provides them an opportunity to be able to speak and talk about what we're doing. I also think that the communication tools that we have in the district is essential. How are we leveraging those? I just sat in the office of the young lady who does the TV broadcasting. That is one way to keep the community informed, but I think meeting them where they are. You know, we are very much a social media environment right now. How do we give them information in a way that they can receive it? How do we, give them that information so that they say, oh, okay, it's on my phone. Am I coming out, talking to community? Those are the ways that we're able to keep the community informed. How are we leveraging other resources like our TV stations, like our radio stations? I think I see your current interim superintendent has tea time and she talks with the community. And so building off of those pieces and building strong relationships so that they know when to anticipate communication, how they're going to receive it, and that it's consistent, authentic, and true.
Thank you.
Closing remarks or anything else you'd like to add that did not get asked?
Absolutely. First of all, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to interview for the role of superintendent for Memphis-Shelby County Schools. I'll be very transparent here. This is the first position that I've interviewed for outside of Atlanta Public Schools, and I've been there for 30 years. You know how you have your future already planned out? You know what you're going to do, how long you're going to do it? And what happens is there's that one thing, that one opportunity that you didn't expect that comes out of the blue, and you're like, wow, there it is. And so that's why I'm here before you today. I thank you for this opportunity because when I started looking at the role description, talking to Max and really studying your school district, I was just amazed at the focus that you have now on achievement and equity. And that is the work that we've done in Atlanta, and we're continuing to push forward. I love the fact that you all have invested in teachers, raising the salaries for teachers, looking at the infrastructure plan. It's exciting work. And so I just want you to remember, if you don't remember anything today, remember the CAO in Atlanta who has been committed to one community for 30 years, which tells you how strident I am about supporting communities for a very, very long time. Remember my student outcomes that we talked about in Atlanta Public Schools. We too have challenges, just like any other urban district, but we're making progress and we're achieving gains, and we're really excited about where we're going. And I also, if you would just remember that Atlanta is a very political place, just like Memphis. And so being there for 30 years, I've been able to successfully navigate those politics in Atlanta, and I know that they're very similar in Memphis. And so I'm just excited for the opportunity to work side by side with you, because I know together, if given the opportunity, we can lead Memphis-Shelby County Schools into a new era of achievement and excellence. So thank you.